Coming up, Jonathan and Zach travel to Belize in search of crystal clear water and a friendly nurse shark. But they also make a new friend. Welcome to Jonathan Bird's Blue World.
The Central American nation of Belize is known for some of the most spectacular diving in the Caribbean, with crystal clear water and healthy coral reefs. Located between Mexico and Honduras, this small country is a scuba diver's dream destination. Zach and I arrive and board the Belize Aggressor 3, a live-aboard dive boat that will take us to sites all around the country. Live-aboards are awesome because you can get up to 5 dives per day when your dive boat and your hotel are the same thing. We will eat, sleep, and dive for the whole week on this luxury yacht. The following morning, we've arrived at Lighthouse Reef Atoll. The boat is surrounded by some of the clearest water I've ever seen, and I can't wait to go diving. The dive bell tells us it's time for a quick dive briefing. Captain Ken gives us a rundown on the site.
If you did not know, just slow it down.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll, baby.
And then it's time to suit up. Soon we hit the water and start looking for critters. I'm hoping to find a local reef resident named Norman, a friendly nurse shark that often investigates divers. We begin our dive by having a look around. The reefs seem really healthy with lots of sea fans and gorgonians. There are healthy sections of staghorn coral, something you don't see everywhere. An indigo hamlet stares me down. They're one of my favorite reef fish, a blue fish in a blue world. A school of surgeonfish goes to work. They have an important job eating the algae that grows on the reefs and making sure it doesn't smother the coral. All day long, they relentlessly move from coral to coral, chomping that algae. We come across a Nassau grouper that seems genuinely curious about us. He stares into my camera lens. And even into my eyes when I hold still. At first I think maybe he wants to take a bite out of my face, but eventually it just seems like he's fascinated with us. Eventually we move on in our search for Norman the nurse shark. Zach spots a peacock flounder in the sand. Flounder lie on their sides to hide, but they're specially adapted to do this with both eyes on the same side of their head, operating independently like a couple of periscopes. While Zach is playing with the flounder, I've found myself an arrow crab. I think they're cute. Moving along, we hunt around, behind, and even under the various coral heads looking for the telltale signs of a nurse shark. We find lots of fish, like a school of blue-striped grunt, just chilling out. With no nurse shark in sight, I settle down on the bottom to film some yellowhead jawfish. Each one lives in a burrow on the bottom and pops out to grab bits of plankton passing by. They're kind of nervous fish, so I have to be patient to let them get used to me. Then they go back to acting normal. They're called jawfish because the males incubate their eggs inside their mouths. It's a pretty good way to protect the eggs, but it does present some problems. The expectant father can't eat for more than a week while the eggs incubate, and every few minutes he has to aerate them. While I'm filming the jawfish, Zach has found a nurse shark. But it's a female, definitely not Norman, and clearly not interested in hanging out with us. Nearby, maybe not the most exciting thing, a sea cucumber. This relative of the sea star digs through the sand for food, but that's not the weirdest thing about them. Their gills are in their rear. Yes, you heard me right. This sea cucumber is breathing through its butt. As we continue on the dive, I notice there are a lot of nice sponges. On the edge of the wall, an orange elephant ear sponge. On top of the wall, some of the biggest barrel sponges I've ever seen. All around the reef, there are healthy tube sponges. And when you look closely, you can find all kinds of animals that rely on sponges. In this tube sponge, a banded coral shrimp. In the next, a coney, just hanging out in safety. Nearby, a spiny lobster has found a nice barrel sponge to call home. And a little ways down the reef, there are bright red rope sponges mixed in with yellow tube sponges. But looking closer, I spot a seahorse clinging to the sponges. Looking like a rope sponge itself, the seahorse even flops around like a sponge. Very hard for predators to spot. The Spanish hogfish has a relationship with sponges too. In its juvenile phase, it likes to hang around sponges and act as a cleaner fish for larger fish, like Creole wrasse. The wrasse come streaming into the cleaning station throughout the day from all over the reef where they're feeding to get a good cleaning. They hover over the sponge where the juvenile Spanish hogfish lives and get all their parasites picked off. The wrasses get rid of parasites and the hogfish gets a meal. It's a good deal for everybody. While I'm filming the cleaning station, our friend the grouper comes back to have a look at what we're up to. If this fish has decided that we're friends, it only seems appropriate that we know what to call him. So we call him Rupert. And once he's satisfied that he isn't missing anything important, he goes on his way. Heading back into shallower water, I spot a green moray eel swimming between coral heads. She dives into the safety of the reef, then pokes her head out to investigate. With their sharp teeth on display, these animals are often considered dangerous, but in reality, they very rarely bite people. They hunt fish at night. We come across a female hawksbill sea turtle. And she has absolutely no interest in me and swims away. and a large male loggerhead passes by. They have huge jaws for crushing mollusk shells. But as I look through the reef, a shark passes by out in the blue. Could it be Norman? Nope, this is a curious Caribbean reef shark. They make a few passes to investigate. Contrary to popular belief, sharks are pretty smart fish, and they do get curious. Out in the blue, on the edge of the reef, an eagle ray makes a pass by us as well. They don't usually hang around. Back on the top of the reef, Dive Master Roque calls us over. He points to a swim-through that he knows we will enjoy. I drop down into a hole in the reef. It's not cave diving, but it looks fun to me. Inside, thousands of little fish known as silversides. They find safety here in this dark realm. Mostly. There are a couple of jacks in here trying to catch them. I pause to film for a minute, and Rupert comes in to see what I'm up to. My bubbles are hitting the top of the swim-through and dislodging particles which rain down into my shot. Also lurking in here, a pair of lionfish. These invasive species from the Pacific Ocean somehow invaded the Caribbean. They like to hide in the reef and hunt small fish like silversides. I spy one of the rarest fish in the Caribbean, a white-spotted toadfish, which is endemic to Belize and has never been found anywhere else. Soon we head out of the coral cavern and swim up into the shallows. The sandy area above the reef gives us plenty of stuff to see while we do a safety stop. A triggerfish hunts for prey in the sand by blowing the sand away with a jet of water. I come across a mass migration of conch. It's fascinating to observe. Okay, well, it's not particularly fast-paced. A conch is a big snail with eyes on long stalks, so it can see us coming. and when the coast is clear, it pulls itself along with a single foot. Captain Ken has joined us and has something he wants us to see. Hiding in the seagrass, and no larger than a paperclip, is a pipe horse, a tiny fish about halfway between being a pipefish and a seahorse. It curls its tail around the grass to hang on. There are other animals here in the seagrass. A pipefish with no prehensile tail like the pipe horse. And a shrimp, perfectly adapted to its grassy habitat. Soon, Zach and I head back to the boat and finish our safety stop on the hang bar with a nice view of the reef below.
That was great.
After lunch, we hit the water again in our search for Norman the shark. A few scraps from lunch make the fish happy. We head on down through crystal clear water to the reef and come across a school of goatfish that are so cooperative, I just have to spend a few minutes with them. And of course, Rupert the grouper swings in for a visit. This time, Rupert is more interested in Zach and actually seems to enjoy a little chin rub. After that, he's off to do fishy things. Nearby, a scorpion fish is doing an excellent job looking like an algae-covered rock. While I'm intently focused on filming the scorpion fish, a nurse shark swims right by me and I don't even see it. We finally found Norman, or should I say he found us. Norman moves from diver to diver, sticking his face right up to the lens and defying our attempts to get good shots. Norman is clearly not afraid of divers, and once he's checked us all out, he goes to have a nap. With our mission completed, we head back to the Aggressor for a little rest before we do it all again. Belize might be a small country, but the diving is big. With incredible visibility, healthy reefs, and lots of marine life, it really is a wonderful place in the blue world.
Hey everyone, did you know that you now can become a Blue World member? Hit the join button down below and get access to cool perks like custom badges, early access to new videos, your name in the credits, and more.